Welcome to Kalos' Gaming Table. I am Kalos. Here's the next entry from Technical Readout 3025, another original, then unseen, and finally reseen mech. Today I'm going to be talking about the STG Stinger. The STG Stinger was produced by Earthworks Incorporated as a direct competitor to the Wasp. They wanted to get in on that new battle mech rush. General Mechanics saw the Stinger as too close to the Wasp and opened up lawsuits to try and block the Stinger's production. I mean, when you look at both the Stinger and the Wasp in a side-by-side comparison, you could see where General Mechanics was coming from. Both are 20 tons. Both have a movement profile of 696. They even share a medium laser. Even the components between the two are interchangeable. That might be great for the great houses or a mercenary company who can pull parts from a Wasp and throw them into a Stinger, but that doesn't help with the sales for General Mechanics. I guess even in the 25th century, corporations are extremely litigious. The only real winners here were the lawyers for both Earthworks and General Mechanics. Earthworks fought the litigation and continued to produce the Stinger despite ongoing lawsuits. Ultimately, General Mechanics saw the writing on the wall and dropped the lawsuit due to the ever-ballooning court costs. Instead, it decided to license out the Wasp to other manufacturers to recoup the money lost. Due to the number of factories producing them, the STG Stinger had over 200,000 units produced between 2479 and the Ameris coup in 2776. After the Ameris coup and the eventual succession wars, many of the Stingers were destroyed, with an estimated 5,000 still operational by 3025. Many of the surviving models were pressed into service as training mechs. Despite this, Earthworks and a few other manufacturers continued to produce the STG, and they could still be found in every great house, as well as mercenary commands, both large and small. At 20 tons, the Stinger only had 3 tons of armor, meaning that a lucky hit or two and the Stinger could be taken out of the fight. It's a scout mech, and should be treated as such, behind enemy lines, performing acts of skullduggery, and hitting targets of opportunity. It won't do well against mechs larger than itself, so it should be worried about just about everything. The Stinger was another budget-friendly mech, costing a little over 1.6 million C-bills, allowing house and mercenary commands to field them. At 359 battle value, the Stinger can help use up any spare value you might have when building a force. The readily available parts also meant that they could be repaired and pressed back into service quickly. The STG-3R was armed with a medium laser, and to deal with pesky infantry, it sported 2 machine guns. The jump jets helped it be a bit more mobile, having a 696 movement profile. 10 heat sinks meant that, except in rare circumstances, heat would never be a problem. Like most battle mechs, the STG Stinger did have additional variants, though most of those came much later in the timeline. The STG-3G removed the 2 machine guns and added a second medium laser. Heat could potentially be an issue, but even max jumping and alpha striking, it would take a few turns before heat would build up. The SLDF had a royal version of the Stinger, the STG-3GB. The STG-3GB was armed with 3 medium lasers and 1 small laser. To fit all that hardware into the 20-ton frame, it was given an XL engine, its structure was swapped out for endosteel, and the heat sinks were replaced with double heat sinks. Additional jump jets gave the STG-3GB a movement profile of 7117. As with most royal variants, they left the inner sphere with the Kerensky Exodus. The STG-5M enjoyed some upgrades thanks to the recovery and dissemination of the Helm memory core. It retained the medium laser, but dumped the machine guns in favor of a flamer and an AMS system. Its structure was replaced with endosteel, and the weight savings afforded it another half-ton of armor. The Capellan Confederation released the STG-6L. The machine guns were dropped, and in their place, a second medium laser was added. The engine was upgraded to an XL engine, along with having double heat sinks added. For all of that, it did lose the jump jets, but it did have a movement profile of 812, on par with the Locust. Eris Sung was a famous mech warrior who piloted a Stinger. He was from the Capellan Confederation. Sung had joined House Haritsu as an infantryman, but in 3051, that changed. On Ji Fui, he saved the life of Housemaster Virginia York when a Stinger attacked. Using guile, he tricked the Stinger pilot into surrendering, the pilot believing Sung was going to set off a satchel charge attached to the Stinger's cockpit. He was ushered into the ranks of the House Haritsu mech warriors and was given the Stinger he had defeated. His Stinger was named Fu Shen. The Stinger is another one of the unseen mechs, a design FASA had licensed while developing Battletech. It was drawn from the Macross VF-1A. Like the Wasp, the Stinger also had a LAM variant, also based off the VF-1A, giving it a Battle Mech mode, Air Mech mode, and Aerospace Fighter mode. The Stinger, like other unseen mechs, was retired for a time after the big Harmony Gold lawsuit. FanPro added it to their Project Phoenix, giving it a redesign, and worked to make it different from the original. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Not great, not spectacular, but okay. It's serviceable. I do vastly prefer the CGL redesign. FASA had wanted to bring Battletech to Japan. Unfortunately, due to licensing issues, they could not use the Macross design for the Stinger in Japan. Instead, they commissioned to have all those battle mechs redesigned. And this is that Stinger. It's interesting, I guess, but it does not make me think of a 20-ton scout mech. The one way I can help tell the Stinger from the other bug mechs is the lone antenna it has. It reminds me of, well, a bee's stinger. The new CGL model for the Stinger and the Wasp are now definitely more distinct, making it easier to tell them apart. If you're looking to add a Stinger to your force, you can get it through the Inner Sphere Command Lance. Ironwood Metals provides a metal version. You could get lucky and get it through a salvage box, or you can pick it up as a single model through a store like Ares Miniatures and Games or Fortress Miniatures and Games. I hope y'all enjoyed the video as much as I did making it. I'm now up to over 200 subs, and my next major milestone is 250 subscriptions. If you want to help me grow, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment on my videos. I can't thank you enough. The Stinger is one of those mechs that I haven't really used in Classic, because if I want to bring a light mech, I try to bring something a bit more utilitarian, like say a Jenner or a Panther. I have fielded the Stinger in Alpha Strike, but if it gets too close to the enemy, it tends to get deleted pretty quickly. In a more scenario-driven mission, or even a campaign, I could see more use for the Stinger, especially when needing a mobile recon mech. I'd like to field more of these lesser-used mechs, but in a straight-up battle, you generally find out pretty quickly that it isn't a great brawler. Again, recon mech. All in all, if you need a budget training mech, or a dedicated recon mech, the STG Stinger is a great choice. Its jump jets keep it mobile, able to leap into, and sometimes more importantly, leaping out of danger. Against a mech of equal tonnage, it can go toe-to-toe, but it's not looking to try and punch above its weight. The machine guns can help chew through annoying infantry, but the MG's short range means the Stinger needs to get up close. What are your thoughts on the Stinger? Do you think it's too close to the Wasp to functionally tell the difference? Do you like fielding it, or is it a punishment mech in your eyes? Have you had any success with the Stinger? Let's talk about the Stinger in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.